Once upon a time, Will Smith was the king of Hollywood. He wasn't just another movie star, he was the moment, headlining blockbuster after blockbuster and charming everyone through the 2000s and 2010s. But things have taken a wild turn lately, and that once golden image is looking real shaky now. Will went from being the cool, confident leading man everyone admired to becoming the internet's favorite punchline. A big part of that downfall came when Jada Pinkett Smith started sharing details about their open marriage and her so-called entanglements with other men. People couldn't stop talking about it, and suddenly, Will became known more for his personal life than his movies. Then came that unforgettable Oscars night when Will marched up on stage and smacked Chris Rock in front of the whole world. He said it was to defend his wife's honor, but that moment flipped everything upside down. Fans were shocked, critics went in hard, and Hollywood turned cold overnight. And just when everyone thought the chaos was over, boom, things got even crazier. A former employee has reportedly filed a lawsuit against Will, making some serious accusations that got people whispering non-stop. Now, everyone's asking the same question. Could Will Smith be the next big Hollywood figure to fall from grace, just like Diddy? Stick around, because in this video, we're diving deep into the new lawsuit and the shocking claims surrounding it. Will Smith's downfall is unlike anything Hollywood's seen in years, and it might just be getting started.
I just wanted to talk about something really important. Earlier this year, I was hired to be a performer on a major tour with somebody who is huge in the industry. So I was excited, proud of myself for getting the opportunity. Unfortunately, some things happened, and I can't get into the details of exactly what that was because it's already a legal issue right now. But the reason why I'm speaking out about this is because getting fired or getting blamed or shamed or threatened or anything like that simply for reporting sexual misconduct or safety threats at work is not okay. And I know that there's a lot of other people out there who have been afraid to speak up, and I understand. And if that's you, I see you. And that's pretty much it. More updates to come soon,
These fresh allegations are making Will Smith's situation look way worse. Recently, a bombshell lawsuit dropped against him, filed by a former employee who's accusing Will of serious misconduct, including sexual harassment and grooming. Things started getting messy back in December when this guy posted a cryptic video online that had everyone confused at first. The man behind the post was Brian King Joseph, a talented violinist and musician who worked on Will's 2025 tour. In the video, Brian didn't mention names directly, but he hinted that he faced harassment while working with a huge artist in the industry. His tone was tense, his words careful, and it sounded like he was holding back something explosive. At first, nobody paid much attention since Brian wasn't a major public figure. The clip got just a few views, floating quietly under the radar. But that all changed fast. Within weeks, Brian came forward with a lawsuit naming Will Smith and his production company, Trey Ball Studios. Now the internet's buzzing non-stop. People are digging through old interviews, backstage clips, and every tour photo trying to find clues. What really went down on that 2025 tour? And could this be the controversy that finally ends Will Smith's Hollywood comeback? The lawsuit hit even harder, alleging sexual harassment, wrongful termination, and disturbing predatory behavior. According to legal documents, Will Smith allegedly brought Brian King Joseph on his 2025 tour back in 2024, but things started getting off real quick. Brian claims that after he joined the team, Will began spending an unusual amount of time with him, keeping him close during rehearsals, meetings, and downtime. The lawsuit even says Will told Brian they shared a special connection, one he supposedly didn't have with anyone else. At first, Brian brushed it off as friendly encouragement from a superstar he admired, but soon things started feeling way too personal. That uneasy feeling turned into full-on alarm during one shocking night on tour in March 2025 when the crew stopped in Las Vegas.
I could tell you what goes on the inside. Everybody else is just speculation. And then I saw acts that when I walked in on.
Who'd you walk in on?
Him and Dwayne Martin. Door to Dwayne's dressing room, and that's when I see Dwayne and having sex with Will. There was a couch, and Will was bent over on the couch, and Dwayne was standing up, killing.
Brian returned to his hotel room, a room that had been booked by Smith's team, and instantly felt something was wrong. The door looked untouched, but inside, something was off.
He said it looked like someone had been inside without his permission. At first, he thought maybe it was a random break-in, but there were no signs of forced entry. Earlier that day, his tour bag, which had his room key, had mysteriously gone missing, supposedly lost by tour management. That's when things took a disturbing turn. Inside his room, Brian allegedly found a strange collection of items laid out on display: wipes, a beer bottle, a red backpack, hospital discharge papers for someone he didn't know, and even a bottle of HIV medication labeled with another person's name. But the most chilling part, a handwritten note left behind, which he interpreted as a threatening message. Everything about that night left Brian shaken, confused, and terrified, and it became the key moment that pushed him to come forward and take legal action against Will Smith and his team. The handwritten note Brian found read, "Brian, I'll be back no later than 5:30, just us," with a little heart drawn underneath. That message sent chills down his spine. He took it as a threat, like someone was planning to return to his room and take advantage of him. Scared and confused, Brian immediately reported what happened to hotel security, called the local police's non-emergency line, and informed Will Smith's representatives. Hotel staff moved fast to check the security footage, and what they discovered made the situation even more suspicious. The cameras didn't show any break-in or random guests sneaking around. Instead, only people from Will Smith's management team were seen going in and out of the room. That's when things took a darker turn, because this wasn't some outsider, it was someone connected to Will's crew. When Brian tried to confront the management team about what he found, things got even messier. According to the lawsuit, instead of investigating or offering support, one team member allegedly turned on him, shaming him, accusing him of making the whole thing up, and then firing him shortly after. Within days, Brian was told the tour was moving in a different direction, but he was quickly replaced by another violinist. That move, he says, made it clear they were trying to silence him. In his lawsuit, Brian claims the whole chain of events shows a disturbing pattern, that this wasn't random at all, but part of something predatory. He says Will Smith and his team had been grooming him from the moment he got hired, trying to make him feel trapped and controlled. Brian even suggested this ties into a dark Hollywood rumor that some male artists are pressured into compromising situations to rise in the industry. For Brian, this wasn't just about losing a job, it was about surviving something deeply twisted that he says started the day Will Smith took interest in him. Brian believes that if he had gone along with it, he would have been rewarded with fame and bigger opportunities in the industry, but at a terrible price. This kind of story isn't new either. It's eerily similar to what happened with Rodney Lil Rod Jones, the producer who worked with Diddy on his Love album a few years back. Lil Rod claimed Diddy pulled the same kind of moves, getting close, acting like a mentor, and inviting him into private settings that slowly crossed the line. According to his lawsuit, Diddy pressured him to attend wild parties, spend nights hanging around his circle, and eventually tried to groom him into doing inappropriate things with other men. Things took a seriously disturbing turn when Lil Rod said Diddy even tried to get a relative of Young Miami to perform intimate acts in front of him. And when Lil Rod refused, everything got awkward and dark fast. He even claimed there was a night where he woke up in a bed and Diddy was lying right beside him. When Lil Rod questioned what was going on, Diddy allegedly told him this was just how things work in the industry, and if he wanted to climb higher, he had to play along. Those words stuck with him, painting a creepy picture of what really goes on behind closed doors in entertainment. That's why Brian's story sounds so familiar. The face feels the same. He says Will Smith used that special connection talk to make him feel chosen, like he was being welcomed into something exclusive. Once Brian let his guard down, the note left in his hotel room felt like the next step, the setup for what could have been his so-called initiation. Brian's convinced that night was meant to break him in and prepare him for something much darker, something he wanted no part of. Brian believes that if he had just stayed quiet and gone along with whatever strange things were being planned, he would have been rewarded with fame, money, and powerful industry connections. But instead, he spoke up, and it cost him everything. After standing his ground, he was fired and left traumatized by what he says he went through.
Now he's fighting back in court, suing for wrongful termination, harassment, and grooming, saying the entire experience left him with PTSD. When the lawsuit hit the headlines, Will Smith's team quickly responded with a public statement. It read, "Mr. Joseph's allegations concerning my client are false, baseless, and reckless. They are categorically denied, and we will use all legal means available to address these claims and ensure that the truth is brought to light."
That response sounded awfully familiar because it's the exact type of statement Hollywood teams always use when they're in damage control mode. Diddy's lawyer said almost the same thing when Cassie came forward with her own lawsuit, and just a day later, he quietly settled for tens of millions of dollars. Diddy even denied ever abusing Cassie until that hotel security footage leaked, proving otherwise. So now, people are side-eyeing Will's denial and wondering if this might be another case of deny first, settle later. But that's not where the story ends. Brian's lawsuit isn't just about harassment. It also hints that Will might have deeper secrets he's been hiding for years. That rumor that Will's into men, it's resurfacing again. Back in November 2023, Will Smith's former personal assistant came out in an interview claiming he personally witnessed Will and actor Dwayne Martin in an intimate situation. Now, with these new accusations piling up, people are questioning everything about Will's public image and wondering what's real and what's just Hollywood acting. Will Smith's former assistant went all in during his sit-down with blogger Tasha K, and he didn't hold back at all. He claimed to have witnessed shocking things behind the scenes, painting a whole different picture of Will's private life. Right after the interview dropped, a representative for Will Smith fired back, calling the entire story completely fabricated. Jada Pinkett Smith also jumped in, calling the claims ridiculous and nonsense, saying the guy was just trying to pull a money grab. The Smiths even said they plan to take legal action for defamation. But here's the thing, it doesn't look like they ever followed through. That silence made people start wondering, was it because there was more truth to the story than they wanted to admit? Now, some folks are starting to draw eerie parallels between Will Smith and Diddy. Both are powerhouse figures in entertainment, both have faced explosive accusations, and both have been hit with claims about manipulating the people who work for them. People online are saying Will might be playing on both sides, using his influence and power behind the scenes, just like Diddy allegedly did. And for many fans, none of this comes as a shock. If you know how Will first got into Hollywood, the story gets even more interesting. Before The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Will was already known as a rapper, but behind the success, he was struggling big time. He'd blown through most of his money on luxury cars, jewelry, and expensive living, and when his next album flopped, things went downhill fast. To make matters worse, Will later admitted he owed a mountain of unpaid taxes to the IRS. He was broke, desperate, and looking for a way to bounce back. And that's when The Fresh Prince came along, changing everything. As Will once said, "We released our next album, and it was a flop." That moment forced him to chase a new path, one that would launch him into superstardom, but maybe also open doors to the dark side of Hollywood. It was a tragedy. That album went double plastic. Will once joked about that rough time in his life. He admitted he'd spent every penny he had, and even though he didn't mean to skip out on his taxes, he just couldn't afford to pay them. In his own words, "I wasn't trying to avoid taxes, I was just like, damn, they need their money." But the IRS wasn't playing. They came and took everything. Will said, "I was broke, broke, broke." Imagine that, being famous but broke at the same time. He once said it was one of the worst feelings ever because people still recognized him everywhere he went, even when he was sitting next to him on the bus. That kind of fall from fame hits hard. Broke, embarrassed, and owing back taxes. It was a complete disaster. But all that was about to change one fateful night that would flip Will's life upside down forever. He ended up meeting Benny Medina, the creative mind behind The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, who was working to get the show approved by a major network. The two hit it off instantly, and Benny invited Will to tag along to Quincy Jones's birthday party. Now, Quincy Jones wasn't just any Hollywood figure. He was the man with the power, the influence, and the connections to make things happen. That invite would change Will's destiny, but rumors claim it might have come with a chilling price. According to Will, when Benny introduced him to Quincy at the party, he was over the moon. He'd been a huge fan of Quincy for years. But here's where things get wild.
Witnesses say Quincy immediately cleared the room and told Will to audition for the Fresh Prince role right there on the spot. Will did it right there in front of Quincy and crushed it so hard he landed the role that very night. It was a dream come true. But Hollywood gossip says that night may have also involved more than just an audition. According to long-running rumors, that was also the night Will allegedly went through a so-called initiation, a dark, secretive Hollywood ritual said to secure careers in exchange for personal favors. Whether true or not, that party became the turning point that launched Will Smith from a broke rapper into one of the biggest stars on TV, and maybe, as some say, into something much deeper and much darker behind the scenes. It's been whispered in Hollywood circles for years that Quincy Jones didn't just help launch Will Smith. Some allege he changed him in ways far deeper than music or acting. Some even claim Quincy had the same influence on Tupac, though that's a wild story for another day. Still, when you connect the dots, things start sounding darker than anyone ever imagined.
What makes all of this even more disturbing is that Benny Medina, the man credited with discovering and introducing Will to Quincy, has his own trail of controversy. Today, Benny's a powerful music and talent manager, but his past is surrounded by serious accusations. Two men have accused him of assault, and both stories sound like something straight out of a Hollywood nightmare. Back in 2004, one man reportedly filed charges against Benny, but tragically passed away before the case ever went anywhere. People have always found the timing suspicious. Then, in 2008, another actor named Jason Lee came forward with a shocking claim of his own. According to Jason, he met Benny one night in late December 2008 at the Abbey, a well-known spot in West Hollywood. Medina allegedly struck up a friendly conversation, then invited him to a party at his house, a move that, according to Jason, would change his life forever. Once inside the mansion, Jason says things took a terrifying turn. He claimed Benny suddenly became aggressive, pushed him onto a bed, and made unwanted advances while saying things like, "You're gonna be mine." Jason said he begged Benny to stop, reminding him that he was married, but Benny didn't seem to care. Now when you step back and look at it, it's chilling to think that this is the same man who gave Will Smith his second chance at fame, the man who got him into Hollywood when he was broke, desperate, and fading out. If these rumors hold any truth, then the connections between Quincy, Benny, and Will might run far deeper and darker than anyone ever dared to say out loud. When you look at old photos of Will Smith and Benny Medina, something about their body language just jumps out. Benny always seemed way too interested in Will. And considering the serious accusations tied to Medina's past, it's no wonder people believe those rumors might actually have some truth behind them. If any of this is real, it could also explain where Will might have picked up certain habits, almost like he was shown the Hollywood way, and then repeated the same cycle with others. That's the dark pattern people keep pointing to. Groomed stars who eventually become the groomers. This, according to many insiders, is the real Hollywood, the side filled with secrets, manipulation, and powerful people who control who rises and who falls. And somewhere along the way, Will may have gone deep into that world. So deep, it even led him to brush shoulders with the Church of Scientology. Now, Will Smith has always denied being a member of Scientology, but there's a ton of evidence that suggests otherwise. He's been spotted at multiple Scientology events, even being honored by the organization itself. And if that wasn't enough, reports revealed that Will actually helped create schools that secretly taught principles linked to the church's teachings. That's where things get extra spooky, because if you know anything about the roots of Scientology, you know it's said to have been inspired by the dark, mystical philosophies of Aleister Crowley, one of the most controversial figures in occult history. Even the son of Scientology's founder allegedly admitted that his father based much of the group's ideology on Crowley's strange and shadowy beliefs. All of this makes Will's connection to that circle seem even more unsettling, like his Hollywood rise was tied to something far more secretive than anyone ever dared to say out loud. This is what Will Smith is tied up in. This is what's hiding behind all the polished smiles, red carpets, and strange public behavior. When you connect all the dots, it starts to make sense why so many of these allegations don't sound so far-fetched anymore. I honestly believe Will Smith has become one of those Hollywood gatekeepers, the kind of person who once had to play the game and now makes others play it too. Hollywood might look glamorous from the outside, but behind the scenes, it's a dark, twisted maze of power, control, and manipulation.
It's a world where fame comes with a price and where souls get traded for influence. The deeper you go, the more it feels like there's no turning back. Those who move in these upper levels aren't driven by art or passion anymore. They're fueled by greed, ego, and darkness. And when I look at what happened to Brian King Joseph, I can't help but think this wasn't just a coincidence. It feels like he was being pulled into that same corrupt system and refused to play alone. So what do you think? Could Will Smith really be part of Hollywood's hidden world? Drop your thoughts below. I want to hear everything. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment to keep this conversation going, because the truth deserves to be heard loud and clear.